Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the live daily extra. It is Monday, the 9th of August. It is the week that the Premier League begins. Football is back, Premier League style, on Saturday. We will be there, back in the stadiums. Something to look forward to. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Another weekend, another link to players. It was inevitable, really, after Saturday's result, which was not the best, that's for sure. There will be a review of Manchester United 4, Everton 0 coming up this afternoon on Toffee TV, so check that out when it is available. It wasn't great, was it? Let's be honest. I still don't feel it was as bad as what some people have really taken it to heart, that result. And on Saturday, I went on Twitter very briefly and came off it, because if I felt the way some people do on Twitter about Everton, I'd do something else with my life. I really would. Because it seems that everything's like a pure roller coaster with them. Like the world's about to end. And the day we start taking pre-season results too seriously, as in, we're getting relegated because we've been beaten by Manchester United, it just shows that things have gone absolutely crazy. Like I said, Saturday there was some decent stuff at times, other times poor, but that's football, isn't it? So, got to get on with it. At least what the manager will have been given is some information about how quickly this team folds at times. And, things like set plays, why Harry Maguire was not marked and things like that. So, that I'm sure will be looked at this week, and it'll be looked at in greater detail by me and Ped later on this afternoon, so check that out. Cameron Speak is in at number 1. Anthony Patrick Annett says, come on you Blues. Cameron said Everton played about as well as the weather on Saturday, need to bounce back. James Dunlop, afternoon Blues. JS says, how's it going? Yeah, it's all right. It's not bad. Everton Gale says, afternoon, think it's going to be toxic on Saturday, and it's becoming a farce that the right-back situation is still not sorted out. Right, I don't think it will be toxic on Saturday at all. I think people are using this thing. There's a few people on social media that shout very loud. These are generally the people that are fuming that Benitez is the manager. Well, he is the manager, and he ain't going anywhere. He's the chairman's pick, or the owner's pick, rather. So, we're Evertonians, and we have to get behind the side. Even if you don't get behind him, you have to get behind the team. I think we're all back in the stadium on Saturday. Everybody is bemoaned and looked forward to this day when we can all go back to game, and it's on Saturday. So, people making that an opportunity to peddle their agenda against someone they don't want in charge is a bit strange for me, because it's about getting back to Goodison in numbers. I went the Wolves game at the end of the season, and there was 6,500 in. It was great. It was great to be back. It was great to just watch a game of footy live again. And I think we should enjoy the fact that Saturday there'll be, close on 40,000 there. And the players will need us. We get off to a positive start, everything changes. But the second part of you, what you've said, Everton Gale, is right. We do need the right-back situation sorting out. Even if it's not this week, we cannot come out of this window without a right-back, I don't think. So, we'll have to wait and see. But fingers crossed Everton do get that bit sorted. Moses says, all right, lads, afternoon, everyone. Bit worried about the season now. Normality is being restored. You know what? We played Manchester United at the weekend. We've just finished runners-up. Just bought Jadon Sancho and Rafael Varane. They already had a strong squad. But if Everton had gone there and won, I wouldn't have thought we're on the top 4 now, definitely, because we've had a win at United. The same way as we got beat, I'm not sitting here going, we're getting relegated. Because it's a pre-season game. It means absolutely nothing. We didn't have any strikers. We had no forwards in the squad, which would have changed the way we played. We give the first and second goal were the two of the cheapest goals you'll see. We give them away. So we were already 2-0 down by the time Bruno Fernandes knocks a third in, which was a cracking free kick, to be fair. So, you know, it is what it is. We've got to get going. You know, what makes me laugh is when some people's takes on it. If Carlo Ancelotti was still the manager, would people still be thinking the same thing? Would people still be going, we're getting relegated? They wouldn't. They'd be going, we'll get in Europe with Carlo. Benitez is a better manager than Ancelotti for the squad we've got. Ancelotti is a fantastic manager if he's got world-class players. We Everton haven't got world-class players. So we need someone who's going to be focused and work hard. Benitez will do that. Whatever else you think about him, that's what he will do. I just don't... The change between the two managers, the squad is still the same. In fact, we're better balanced than we were last year with Townsend and McGray. But we're still a little bit short. With that, you can't sit here and say anything other than that. And we're going to rely on being lucky with injuries, which Everton aren't normally. But Everton still are in a no worse position than teams below Leicester City, in my opinion. Like I've said before, and I won't change my opinion on it, Everton will finish between 6th and 12th. They could finish 6th and just as easily finish 12th, like a handful of other teams in that mix. Leeds got pumped 4-0 on Thursday, and people are still talking about them getting into Europe. It's like, how does that work? So, you know, we've got to have a little bit of perspective as well, but we do need, you can't sit here and say anything like we don't need a right back, because we do. It's blatantly obvious we need a right back. It's blatantly obvious we need one, and we need one fast. We also need, in my opinion, another forward player, a winger maybe. I'd love another centre midfield player. But right now, the squad, I don't think is as bad as what people think. But that's just, it's all opinions, isn't it? Results will tell us whether we're right, wrong, you know, whatever. But I think I just don't put that much stock into pre-season, especially not playing Manchester United as well. So we'll have to see what happens. There's still, 3 weeks to go, isn't it, the transfer window? So we need, the thing I look at is there's not many moves anywhere else. That's what worries me, because we do need to get some of these players out. And so until people come banging the door down for our players, what can we do? The market is dead at the moment. It needs to be picked up. You know, we know the Premier League rules, and they're the reason why Everton haven't been able to do what they wanted to do. But we also kind of thought we'd have a couple of offers that haven't come. So, Terry McAllister says, afternoon, Baz, the club really need to start letting every manager they appoint sign a load of former players. Everyone since Moyes left done this, and about 5 have been good. I understood it with Carlo, as he was the USP of club to players at Champions League clubs. But let's not let Benitez lumber us with his Newcastle Josh. Obviously, we've got Sean Longstaff on the thumbnail. Sean Longstaff's been linked. I can tell you, Terry, Everton have been watching Sean Longstaff for over 6 months. So long before Rafa Benitez got here. It is coincidental that Benitez did have him at Newcastle, I suppose. But like Dumfries, Everton have watched them for a while. So read into that what you will, whether or not Benitez has been the affirmation of that player. Who knows? David Gilbert says, I'd rather we didn't sign anyone. Sick of being linked with crap players we don't need. I've paraphrased. Got enough without them already without adding to them. Fair enough, mate. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. Everyone's got an opinion. Lee Sizedar said Everton will be the death of me. Jason says, all I've heard from other fan channels says we're going to be in a relegation scrap this season, which I find strange. Fair enough, mate. Like I said, everyone's entitled to their opinion. That to me is bizarre, that point of view. But what else can you say? Everyone's got their own opinion. I don't agree with that, but there you go. Where are we? James says, my only concern is no forward with Dom injured and Moyes Keane out as well. Yeah, that is a concern, of course. What can we do, though? What can we do? You know, hopefully Dom will be fit in time for the weekend. Moise Keane, I don't know at the moment. But you'd like to think they will be back in the squad. Obviously, once Richarlison gets back here, we're in better shape again. Because we haven't got anything else. And obviously having Ellis Sims, who will be the closest, I guess, to having a striker underneath the first team. He's out injured as well at the minute. So, Chris Deman says afternoon. Andy Johnston says afternoon, Baz, how much would a 95, 96 Andre Kanchelskis be worth in today's market? Most exciting player we've had in the last 30 years. Yeah, he's easily a £100 million player, isn't he? Absolutely unbelievable player. Power, pace, goals, shoot with both feet, just fantastic. Dove True Blue says, afternoon, Baz, how many more signings are you expecting? That's a really difficult question, mate. I think ideally Everton want 3 more. But the reality is, without moving people out, it's going to be incredibly difficult to bring anyone in. Certainly 3 in without moving any out. So we're dependent on other teams coming and taking some of our players, which is never a great position to be in. So I could sit here and say 3. I could sit here and say none. It really is dependent on who goes out the door, mate. Which is, like I just said, not an ideal scenario. Matt Sumner says, I'm just surprised the team in its current condition was to play a Champions League team right before the start of the season. I think the game was arranged earlier in the summer, wasn't it, when they didn't think that European teams were going to be able to travel. And quite clearly, they have travelled now, because teams like Athletic Bilbao and people, and they played Liverpool, I think, yesterday, didn't they? They played Southampton on Saturday. There's Osasuna, I think, Liverpool are playing today, something like that. So I'm surprised Everton didn't have a game today, if I'm being truly honest, why we didn't play a game tonight against a European side, but who knows? Who knows? APG video sample says, here we go again. Before the start of the season, we don't have 2 players available to injuries. What do they do in training? Without Dom, there's no goals in the squad. Anthony says, we have to get behind them no matter what we do. Matthias says, do we have to get rid of players before we get new ones? Yes, that's how it seems now, mate. James Dunlop says, I did my Premier League predictions this week. My honest opinion for Everton is 10th. Fair enough, mate. Gavin Cunningham says, he's no better than Tom Davies. Stop buying this manager. Gavin, like I said before, Everton have been watching him for the best part of 6 months. So if they knew Rafael Benitez was coming in February, March, then fair enough. But they were watching him before Benitez got here. So Nathan says, hey, Baz, I'm one for thinking Dobbin may have a bit of a breakout season. I don't know. I think he's got to score regularly in the 23s. He's got the pace, but he had a bad injury last season, so he's almost like a year behind. So got to let him just develop. It's a huge jump from 23s to the Premier League. Absolutely huge. But who knows? Who knows? He's just got to keep performing, do it in training when he trains with the first team, and then he might get a go. You never know. Chris the man says, didn't see the game, will be good in any parts, or was it as bad as other people are saying? At times, we knocked the ball around quite well. The problem we had was, Chris, we kept giving the ball away in the final third, and they broke on us, and they sprung us quickly a few times. And that was it. The concern I had was we were just sloppy, so sloppy in possession. And teams like United punish you for it. If you break the game down, the first goal, Pickford threw it in his own net. The second goal, for some reason, we decided not to mark Harry Maguire. The third goal was a great free kick. And the fourth goal, Iwobi didn't close the ball down. Yeah, he mean to let the lad back head it. And it was in injury time. But, you know, we could have had a couple, 2 or 3 goals ourselves. But you can't give the ball away the way we do. That's the biggest concern for me. Just so sloppy in possession. CNM TV says, although we didn't perform well against United, I still believe we'll have a solid season. Yeah. Lockie White says, g'day Baz, have you heard if Moise Keane didn't play because he was injured or because he's on the cusp of being sold? He wasn't on the cusp of being sold. So, That was why he was out. Nothing to do with him being sold. A medical issue, shall we say. Nathan says we may have to swallow our hopes and back Kenny or push Godfrey outright. I think Seamus Coleman will start. I really do. Afternoon, Kevin. Matt Sumner says you don't have to like Rafa being in charge, but support the team. That won't kill you. Yeah. Tom says, what would Longstaff add to Everton's midfield? Well, he's mobile. He's, 5'11". So there's a bit of physicality there. I think, listen, Manchester United tried to get him a couple of years ago and were quoted 50 million for him. I just think he's a solid Premier League player. I don't think I'd rather have Anguissa. He's one we've been linked with. I'd much rather have him. I think we probably need someone who travels with the ball, and he doesn't. He's more of a defensive midfield player. So I don't know, but then I'm not the manager, am I? Which is, I'd be going for different players altogether, but that's what I don't think he's as bad as people say. Is he going to be the difference? But I don't know. He might just be, put it this way, he's probably better option than Andre Gomez, Fabian Delph at the moment. So if you got them two out and he come in, you'd go, well, probably an upgrade on them because of what he can, just because of his age and his physicality and his mobility. But I wouldn't sit here and tell you that he's going to be the key and Everton are going to get into the Champions League because you're signing Sean Longstaff, because that'd just be ridiculous. Paul Lawson says we're going down. Don't be silly. Gavin Cunningham says, can't believe we haven't got in a right back and gave Coleman a new contract. What's the point? Well, Coleman is for backup, isn't he? Really, for the experience. But people will only accept that once we bring in a first choice right back, I guess. JS says, I know you're an optimist, Baz, but I'm worried we're generally 2 to 3 injuries away from a relegation battle. Fair enough, mate. I honestly can't. I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you. I just look at what we did last season, and we got 59 points and we're 1 win off Europe. I look at the Premier League, and it ain't very good, apart from the top 5, say if I include Leicester, because Leicester is still doing well. After that, it's much of a muchness. Teams that are coming up will struggle to stay up. Watford will struggle to stay up. Brentford will struggle to stay up. And so when you look at it like that, then you've got Brighton, who I like the way they play, but they haven't done anything this window and they've lost the best defender. I look at Newcastle, who are poor. I look at Southampton, who are really, regardless of what happens at Goodison at the weekend, they're in trouble, I think. Everton are way above those kind of sides. Crystal Palace, another one. Miles better than the likes of them. So, if you're talking 3 injuries to your forwards, then yeah, but then if it took 3 strikers out of Liverpool, they wouldn't finish in the top 4. If you took 3 players out of Man City, the front 3, they might not win the league. It's obviously it's levels, isn't it? If you took 3, Patrick Bamford and Jack Harrison, Rafinha out of Leeds, they'd be bottom 4 or 5. So you could say it about any team that. But I don't know. James Dunlop says we're not going down, but we're not strong enough and consistent enough to push for Europe. We'll have to see, won't we? We nearly did it last season, and we're better balanced. Don't know. Who knows? June says disappointing results on Saturday. I don't think Pickford and Everton are a good fit. Every club needs a goalie who gives confidence. Sell, use funds to improve. June, fair play, but no one's interested in buying Jordan Pickford. So you can only sell people when there's offers on the table. At the moment, there's no offers on the table for any of our players, and that's hampering what Everton are trying to do. Keith says apparently PSG need to offload 10 players to pay for Messi. Game is in a mess, to be honest. It's been all be in excess of the top clubs until reality hits. Sorry, but we're in a negative position before Benitez starts. Get off his back. Don't want Davies to go in exchange for Longstaff. Okay. Steve Kelly says, all right, mate, pre-season is pre-season. We've had a decent pre-season apart from Saturday. Do you think the team that started on Saturday, apart from Dom or Keane coming in, will be the team? Still think 3 weeks left, and we said Dalot and a right winger and Marchand. That'd be lovely to get those three in. Do I think that'd be the team on Saturday? Possibly I'd have Mina in over Michael Keane if it was me. So that'd be the back five. Midfield, I'd have Gabaman in if he's fit. And then up front, you need Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You need that target man. And then have Gray and it depends what he's going to play. If he plays 4-2-3-1 and James is still here, then you'd play Rodriguez. You play him in the 10. I'd have Townsend and Gray either side of him and have Dominic Calvert-Lewin through the middle. And then your midfield two. I'd love Gabaman to be fully fit and have him in there, but maybe Allen and Decore as your two in midfield. And that team, if that was the team, would be good enough to beat Southampton, in my opinion. And then have hopefully Moise Keane and people like that on the bench. We'll have to see, Steve. But yeah, if he got those other three, it would change. And then obviously Richie coming back as well. So we'll see. Keith says, right back and attacking midfield. I need it before my birthday, August the 31st. Accept it. Yeah, defo, Keith. Jake says, I accept we're not going to sign any more players except the right back. So why don't we promote a load of youth like Chelsea did? Would rather see players like Branthwaite and Dobbin get game time than some of the players. Maybe they will, Jake. Branthwaite, I think, will be involved sooner rather than later. Dobbin, don't know. Are our fans going to accept results going wrong by playing kids who might not be ready? I don't think so. I think there's a section of our fans ready to jump on everyone and anything. They love they love being negative. They love being depressed. There seems to be. So I don't know whether they'd take us having kids and getting beat. I don't know. Adam says one positive came out the United games. If we didn't think the right back was 100% essential, I think we do now. Yeah. The Rafa haters were out in force as soon as the whistle went, comparing him to the manager we lost. And too soon for silly comments. As for world-class Carlo, for me, a manager can't be world-class if he's only successful by having world-class players. Listen, Carlo Ancelotti's been there and done it. But for me, to win 2 home games between December and May, David Moyes would have won 6 of those home games, 5 or 6. Is Ancelotti a better manager than Moyes? Yeah, because he's proved it. But David Moyes wouldn't have gone. We wouldn't have only won 2 home games between Christmas and May with David Moyes, without a shadow. So Ancelotti, fantastic with great players, like I've said many times. He's better than Benitez. If you had 20 world-class players, Ancelotti would be better than Benitez to manage those players. I believe that with this squad, Benitez is probably a better fit than what Ancelotti is. That's the way I look at it. So we'll see. James says relegation battle incoming. Okay, mate. That to me, that's berserk, but fair enough. Semi-Charm Life says greetings, fellow Blues. Swap Allen and Digger Lenny says swap Allen and Decore for Gundogan and De Bruyne, and we have a team worth watching. I think a lot of teams would like to swap 2 of their midfield players for those 2, wouldn't they? Because they're incredible. Where are you? All right, Baz. Any idea why Gomez was missing on Saturday? Not injured, doesn't he? Slight injury or something. Apparently, don't know. Johnny A says some people gave up on the season on the back of a friendly loss. Yeah, I mean, people now judging pre-season games as to how your season's going to be is mad. And it's probably the reason why a lot of teams don't like the friendlies being broadcast. Nick says, I think we'll struggle to finish top 10. Villa, Leeds, Wolves. Wolves? Okay. Leicester will finish above us, I imagine. Villa, Leeds, quite possibly, who knows? But could go the other way. Thanos says, that's what worries me, Baz. We haven't addressed the right-back position. I know money is holding us back, but we have known for so long we needed the right-back. You think they'd have sorted it by now? Yeah, I don't know whether they expected the Dumfries thing to go through early on, or I don't know what the hold-up is, to be honest. I know that obviously there isn't any room in the budget, but you would have thought if that was the first priority, they'd have tried to address that first. I don't know. But I suppose the way to look at it, we've got 3 weeks, haven't we, till the end of the window. So, we'll see. We will see. Tom says, I don't want Longstaff. Okay, that's fine. Kevin Kraft says, same with Messi, FFP rules means that's why he had to go. It is what it is. Yeah. DLBB Rogue Trader says, James Rodriguez should be the first name on the team sheet. Well, maybe he will be if he's still here. June says, Rafa will improve the squad. I'm confident with his hands-on approach to coaching, it'll transform the team and results. Yeah, we've got to just, there's 3 weeks to go. We've got to get to the end of the window, and then we'll know where we are, won't we, in terms of that. But yeah, I can't. Saturday doesn't change anything for me. If we'd have won, I wouldn't have thought we were going to finish top 4. We've lost. I certainly don't think we're in a relegation battle. That's, to me, that is insane. But everyone's got their own opinion on it. Eugene says, how can Man City pay big and Everton cannot because of FFP? Will City just earn more money than us? And that's, what can you do? That's all you can do, isn't it? They earn more money so they can spend more. They also got to a Champions League final, didn't they? They won the Premier League, so big prize money there. We've obviously, the way the league is done, the way it's not FFP, the way the profit and sustainability rules are in the Premier League is that you can only lose 105 million over 3 seasons. Well, we've done that. We've well exceeded that, so there's not really much we can do until someone comes in for our players. Okay. Chris Warby says, we've needed a new right back for 3 to 4 seasons. What has Brands and the board been doing all this time? I honestly don't know, because you're right. We have needed another one to come in, certainly to put pressure on Seamus, if not to replace him. And it should have been a younger one who can battle it out for him. So I don't know why we haven't addressed it. It's mad. It is mad. Liam says, all right, Baz, would you give Rafa a bye this season, considering the financial restrictions, or are you expecting a decent season? I'll be honest, I'll give him time. He have a decent 11, but we're short. Well, he's our manager, and managers have to get the best out of what they've got. And this squad finished the win off Europe last season, regardless of what anyone says about last season. They're the facts, and we're only dealing in facts. They were close to European football last season. So, therefore, by default, they should be able to at least repeat 59 points next season. Right? That's what you have to, that has to be your base, your starting point. So, it's up to the manager to do that, whatever way he can. We've still got Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We'll still have Richarlison. Right now, we've got Moise Kean. So, there's 3 lads who can put the ball in the back of the net. We've still got James Rodriguez right now. So there's a fella that scores and creates chances and goals. So, with those players, we've now got Damari Gray, who's a bit of a live wire. We've got Andros Townsend to give you a little bit of balance in the squad. We've got, hopefully, Jean-Philippe Gbamin, who we didn't have last season, back into the mix. Jared Brandtwaite's back in with the squad now. So, theoretically, on a balance, we are better balanced than we were last season. So that is how I look at it. I don't care what other teams are doing. It's about us. If we get it right, we'll have a good season. If we get it wrong and we're inconsistent, we'll finish where we finish. But it's up to the manager. The manager, you can't. Nothing really can be put at Benitez's feet right now. because some of these issues have been going on. Carlo Ancelotti we were in Europe in March. We were 4th after we beat West Brom. There was no way we should have finished outside the European places having a world-class manager. But we did. And that is not all on Carlo, by the way, but we did. So therefore, the players have let us down over that period of time. But we did also have 3 big injuries last season. So we can have a season where we're relatively okay injuries-wise, then we could do well. But it's all ifs and buts and maybes. And this situation, let's be honest, in 3 weeks, we might have sold 2 or 3 players and been able to bring in another 3. The situation flips again then, doesn't it? So, yeah, the window isn't closed yet. But even if it was, this squad, I still think is capable of, like I said before, anywhere between 6th and 12th. Because that's just the way it is. That's the way the Premier League is. Everton could easily finish 12th. People might be right. But they could easily finish higher. So, it is what it is. But we won't know absolutes, really, in terms of what we're working with until the 1st of September, will we? Then we will know. What I will say is the top 4 are miles ahead of Everton, miles ahead. But that's the way it is. We're not trying to get in the top 4 this season, are we? We're trying to build something that you can build on top of. Everton have been rubbish at building on top of anything since Mashiri come, let's be honest. We're on our 6th manager or something, which is shambolic. We're on our 2nd director of football, and we still aren't buying athletic, fast players that the Premier League needs. So as well as having a go at the manager, there's other people in positions there. We've seen Chris Perslow come out the other day and explain why Jack Grealish was sold on the process. We lost our manager. No one came out and said anything. Didn't hear anything from Denise Barrett-Baxendale. Didn't hear anything from Marcel Brands. We heard nothing on the approach, nothing on the appointments of Benitez, the way Perslow did it the other day. We've heard nothing on recruitment. We've heard nothing explaining why it's a bit more difficult for us this summer not to go and buy who we want. We've heard absolutely nothing from our football club as per, other than a couple of articles that get bounced on a website every now and again. All of those people maybe need questioning before you question Rafa Benitez, I guess, at this moment, because they're all part of the issue. They're all part of the problem, aren't they? And that's where we are. But that being said, we've still got some good footballers in our team. There's no question about it. We went to Old Trafford playing against the Champions League side, the runners-up in the Premier League last season, with no strikers on the pitch. So it was always going to be difficult. And yet we could have scored 3 goals in the end. So it is what it is. We can't really judge it yet. Because we may end up getting a bid for Mason Holgate or a bid for Andre Gomez or, a bid for Moise Keane, and it's a big bid, or James Rodriguez. And that might change what we're able to do in the transfer window. And that's, and up until that moment, there's not really much we can do other than just wait. Just wait. Dawn says you think Dom will play against Southampton. I really hope he will. I really hope he will. I don't know whether he will at this moment in time, but I really hope he will. So, who knows? James says communication is horrific at Everton and amplifies the difficulty of our position. Chris Warby says, I know we are thankful for his money and the new stadium, but at what point do we start to question Mashiri? I think you can always question it, but I don't know what the answer to that is. It's not as if Everton have got a line of new buyers, queuing up going, I want to buy them and I'm going to do this, that and the other, have they? It doesn't seem that way anyway. He's I think the one thing you can say about Farhad Mashiri, and he's not beyond criticism, not at all, right? But the one thing you can say about him is he's tried to put his money in and he's tried to make Everton better. I don't think anyone could question that. You can question his methods, absolutely, and you can question, some of the decision making, absolutely as well. But I think he's tried to put his money in and tried to really help Everton, and trying to get the stadium sorted and things like that. He's tried to back his manager. But whether the processes are right, I don't know. It's the real answer. Someone's just asked about, was it right to give Brands another 3 years? Did he do enough? I don't know, because is he being allowed to do his job? What I've said before, I'm disappointed with the players we've brought in terms of the profile of those players. If I was Marcel Brands, though, and I wasn't being allowed to do my job, I wouldn't have signed a new deal with Everton. He'd have got a job elsewhere, 100% he would have. So you have to question, why did he sign again? Is he being allowed to do his job? So we'll see. We'll see. Craig says, I feel we've gone backwards under Mashiri. I don't know. It's a tough one, isn't it? Have we gone backwards? We probably have, because we started going backwards under Martinez. Moyes took us up into the top 5 regularly, 6. Martinez took us the other way. And then we haven't really been able to arrest the slide. Koeman had us 7th. Allardyce had us 8th. Silver had us 8th. And then it started. Carlo had us 12th, which was mad, because we should have finished higher. And 10th, which was mad, because we should have finished higher. So, yeah, maybe. Where are we? Every fan on Saturday should shout Everton, Everton for the first 45 minutes. Maybe they will. You can't always take what's being said on social media as well as what's going to happen. So we'll just see. Liam Munro says, I think our problem is we've been trying to hit the top 4 before we could swim either way. We've been poorly run, and regardless, our thoughts, the people at the top messed up, and they must fix it. Yeah. Well, we've said that before, and me and Bed have said lots of times, establish yourself as the 7th best team, and then try to be the 6th best team before you can start going, we're 8th, but we want to be 4th. Got to build something that's worth building on top of. MLW XCV says, why did Brands go to Holland? Looks like it's just a holiday because there's no signings. Well, he went back to see his grandchild, first and foremost. And secondly, he might be doing negotiations, but without the money, what can you do? If there's no freedom to buy, there's not really much you can do. Craig Fingers Cat says, which is a great name, if you like that kind of thing, says Richarlison's comment was pure class. I'll retire. I'll rest when I retire. I'm not tired. Well, you do look tired at times, Richie, let's be honest. Right, that is us done. Gone on longer than I intended. Let's see what happens. 3 weeks to go in the transfer market. I'm sure there'll be a new name tomorrow. Let's see what happens. Give the video a thumbs up before you go. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Much appreciated you join us. And if you want more live videos, including lots of live chats that we do every single day, why not become a patron? The link is in the description. Until tomorrow, see you later.